Have you ever wondered what happens when that mysterious and independent Sigma male suddenly becomes a dad? It's not about changing diapers or midnight feedings. I'm talking about the long game, how these lone wolves shape young minds from toddler years to adulthood. These are the guys who've always done things their own way, and now they're in charge of molding tiny humans. So, do they turn into those cool dads with all the answers? Or are they more like the distant uncles who show up once a year with expensive gifts? Will they continue to stay true to their Sigma nature, or will fatherhood soften their edges? As with everything Sigma-related, it's not a simple answer. So let's see what happens when a Sigma male becomes a dad. Number 1. He encourages independence, but leaves the door always open. Most parents find themselves walking a tightrope between protecting their kids and letting them grow. They hover anxiously, micromanaging every aspect of their children's lives. This often leads to kids who struggle to make decisions or handle challenges on their own when they eventually face the real world. The Sigma man takes a different approach. He's all about promoting independence, but with a safety net in place. He's like that cool lifeguard at the pool of life, not jumping in every time his kid gets a mouthful of water, but always watching, ready to dive in if things get truly dicey. Real growth happens outside the comfort zone, so he encourages his kids to take risks, try new things, and even fail sometimes. If his child wants to start a lemonade stand, he'll help brainstorm ideas, but won't run the business for them. When they're considering joining a new club at school, he'll discuss the pros and cons, then let them make the call. The key is that while he's pushing his kids to be independent, he's also making it crystal clear that he's always there if they need him. It's as if he's telling them, go explore the world, but remember, you've always got a home base here. This isn't always easy. There are times when it'd be easier to just step in and fix things, but rescuing his kids from every little problem won't do them any favors down the road. So he watches from the sidelines, offering advice when asked, but mostly just being a steady presence. He's creating a safety net of trust and support, giving his kids the confidence to take bigger leaps. Number 2. He teaches kids to question everything, even him. Most dads are all about setting rules and expecting their kids to follow them without question. They use "because I said so" casually, like it's no big deal. These kids grow up thinking rules are just there to be followed, not understood. They might struggle to think critically or question authority when it really matters. The Sigma male is cut from a different cloth. He's not interested in raising little robots who blindly follow orders. He's all about teaching his kids to question everything, even him. When his children ask why something is the way it is, the Sigma dad takes the time to explain. He dives right in, breaking down his reasoning like he's explaining a complex chess move. And if he realizes he doesn't have a solid reason for something, he'll admit it. Can you imagine? A dad who's not afraid to say, you know what? I might be wrong here. It's like honesty and humility rolled into one. Dinner at his house isn't just about food. It's a full-on debate club. Everyone gets a say, even the little ones. And he's not threatened when his kids disagree with him. He's secretly proud when they can back up their arguments with solid logic. It's like he's raising a bunch of tiny lawyers. This approach isn't always smooth sailing. Sometimes his kids question rules that are there for their own good. But the Sigma male sees these as golden teaching moments. He's playing the long game, preparing his kids for a world that's more shades of gray than black and white. Sure, it might make his life harder in the short term. His kids might be more likely to argue or push boundaries, but he's not interested in an easy ride. He wants his kids to navigate life with confidence, to stand up for what they believe in, even if that means standing up to him sometimes. In a world that often tries to put people in boxes, the Sigma man is teaching his kids to think outside of them. He's not raising mini versions of himself. He's raising independent thinkers who can forge their own paths. And let's be real. In this crazy world we're living in, That might just be the best gift a dad can give. Number 3. He connects through shared hobbies, not forced family time. Many parents try to force family bonding through awkward game nights or mandatory Sunday dinners. They end up with eye-rolling teens and tension-filled gatherings that feel more like obligation than connection. The Sigma Dad is not about that life. He knows that real bonding happens naturally, over shared interests and experiences. Instead of scheduling family time, he invites his kids into what he's already doing. If he's into woodworking, you might find him in the garage with his daughter, teaching her how to sand and stain. If his son is obsessed with video games, the Sigma male might pick up a controller and ask to learn. He's not pretending to be interested. He's genuinely curious about what makes his kids tick. This approach creates organic opportunities for conversation and connection. While working on a project together, discussions flow freely. Topics range from school drama to life's big questions, all without the pressure of a formal talk. He also encourages his kids to teach him things. He'll happily let his tech-savvy teen explain the latest app or social media trend. This role reversal builds his children's confidence and reinforces that learning is a two-way street. These shared experiences become inside jokes, shared memories, and a unique family language. The Sigma man is building a relationship with his kids that will last long after they've outgrown traditional family nights. Number 4. He lets his kids fight their own battles at the playground. Most dads at the playground are quick to jump in at the first sign of trouble. They'll rush over to break up arguments, solve problems, or soothe hurt feelings. It's a natural instinct. They want to protect their kids and make everything okay. But this constant interference can have unintended consequences. These kids might struggle to handle conflicts on their own, always looking for an adult to step in and fix things. The Sigma Dad takes a different approach. He's not about to win any helicopter parent awards. When his kids face challenges at the playground, he hangs back and watches from a distance. He's ready to step in if things get seriously out of hand, but he's not about to referee every little squabble. This might seem hands-off to some, but he has his reasons. He knows these playground conflicts are like little life lessons in disguise. By letting his kids work through their own problems, he's teaching them valuable skills they'll need later in life. The Sigma man understands that the playground is a training ground for the real world. It's where kids learn to stand up for themselves, negotiate with others, and resolve conflicts. These are skills that can't be taught through lectures. They need to be learned through experience. So while other parents might rush in to smooth things over, the Sigma Dad watches and waits. He's there if his kids really need him, but he's giving them the space to figure things out on their own. It's not always easy, but he knows it's preparing his children for the challenges they'll face as adults. Number 5. He leads by example, not authority. Traditional dads often rely on their authority to get things done. They bark orders, set strict rules, and expect their kids to fall in line. But this approach can breed resentment and rebellion in kids who see right through the hypocrisy. The Sigma male is not about throwing his weight around or pulling rank. He's all about walking the walk, not just talking the talk. Kids are like little sponges, soaking up everything they see. So he leads by example, showing rather than telling. If he wants his kids to read more, then his nose is always in a book. If he wants to teach the value of hard work, he's the first one up and the last one to bed, grinding away at his goals. If he hopes to raise kind and compassionate humans, he will help a stranger or volunteer at the local shelter. The Sigma man doesn't lecture his kids about healthy habits. He hits the gym regularly and eats his veggies without complaint. When it comes to respect and manners, he treats everyone from the CEO to the janitor with equal kindness. This approach isn't always easy. Sometimes it'd be simpler to just lay down the law. But his actions speak louder than words, especially to kids who are experts at spotting inconsistencies. The beauty of this method is that kids naturally want to emulate their parents. By being the person he wants his kids to become, he sets them up for success without resorting to heavy-handed tactics. It's not about being perfect. The Sigma male is human after all. But when he messes up, he owns it, apologizes, and shows his kids how to make things right. That's the kind of real-world lesson you can't get from a lecture. Number 6. He teaches kids to read people, not just books. Book smarts are just one piece of the puzzle. While other parents are laser-focused on grades and test scores, the Sigma male is playing a different game. He's teaching his kids the art of reading people, a skill that's worth its weight in gold in this complex world. He's constantly pointing out subtle cues in body language, tone of voice, and facial expressions. During family outings, he might quietly ask his kids what they think about the cashier's mood or why that couple at the next table seems to be arguing. He encourages his children to put themselves in others' shoes. Why do you think your friend reacted that way? He might ask after a playground spat. He's not looking for a right answer, but pushing them to consider different perspectives. The Sigma dad shows his kids how to read a room, adapt their communication style, and pick up on unspoken social cues. He might explain why he chose a certain approach in a work situation or how he diffused a tense moment with a neighbor. This focus on emotional intelligence doesn't mean he neglects traditional education. He's adding another layer to his children's learning. In a world increasingly dominated by technology, the ability to connect with and understand people is more valuable than ever. By teaching his kids to read people, the Sigma male is equipping them with a superpower. He's preparing them for a world where EQ is just as important as IQ, if not more so. Number 7. He treats his kids like adults in training, not babies. Have you ever wondered why some kids seem more mature and capable than others? It might have something to do with how their parents treat them. The Sigma male doesn't baby his kids or talk down to them. He sees them as adults in training, not perpetual children. He speaks to them with respect, uses grown-up words, and explains complex concepts instead of oversimplifying everything. When making family decisions, he includes his kids in the conversation. When planning a vacation, he'll ask for their input and explain the logistics. If it's about discussing a home renovation, he'll break down the budget and timeline, treating them like mini project managers. This dad doesn't shy away from tough topics either. He discusses current events, explains financial concepts, and even touches on relationship dynamics in age-appropriate ways. He knows that sheltering kids from reality doesn't prepare them for the real world. The Sigma man gives his kids real responsibilities, not just token chores. He might put them in charge of planning a family meal, including budgeting and shopping, or he'll teach them to change a tire, explaining the physics behind it. He's not afraid to admit when he doesn't know something, showing his kids that learning is a lifelong process. They'll often research topics together, with dad and kids side by side, discovering new information.